Why being a Victorian widow sucked more than losing your husband. A Calm History for Sleep episode, 15 minutes. Welcome to Calm History for Sleep. Tonight, we travel to the Victorian age, the 19th century world of carriages, corsets, and candlelight. A time of strict manners, quiet suffering, and far too many rules about grief. Because in that era, losing your husband was tragic. But becoming a widow, that was just the beginning of a long, exhausting ordeal. So lie back, let the ticking of the old clock in your mind slow down, and let's explore why being a Victorian widow sucked even more than the loss itself. 1. The performance of sorrow. In Victorian Britain, grief wasn't private. It was theater. From the moment your husband died, society expected you to step into a costume, literally. The widow's wardrobe was a uniform of suffering. All black, head to toe. Your dresses were made from dull, scratchy crepe, a fabric that caught dust, smelled faintly of dye and damp, and never shimmered in sunlight. You couldn't wear jewelry, except for pieces made from jet, black fossilized stone, or more disturbingly, lockets containing a strand of your husband's hair. Even a sparkle of color was considered disrespectful. And this wasn't just for a few weeks. Widowhood fashion came with a timetable. 2 years of deep mourning, followed by 1 year of half mourning. 3 years of being wrapped in death. 2 social death. The mourning clothes weren't the only prison. Society imposed silence too. Widows were discouraged from attending parties, theater, or even family gatherings. A woman seen smiling too soon could be labeled heartless. So many widows found themselves trapped indoors, their homes filled with heavy curtains and portraits of the departed. Even letters of condolence followed strict etiquette. Too emotional, and it was scandalous. Too brief, and it was cold. In a world obsessed with appearance, grief had rules, and breaking them meant social exile. 3. The money problem. Then came the financial blow. Victorian women had few rights. When a husband died, his property often didn't pass directly to his wife. It might go to a son, a brother, or a lawyer acting on her behalf. Many widows discovered, too late, that they owned nothing at all. Not the home, not the furniture, not even the bed they slept in. Some took in sewing or teaching work, quietly, to survive. Others relied on relatives. And the rest faded into poverty. There were charitable institutions for gentle women in reduced circumstances. A polite Victorian way of saying, shelters for broke widows who used to be respectable. For mourning as business. Of course, grief was profitable. Entire industries bloomed around widowhood. Mourning dressmakers, black-bordered stationery, jet jewelry merchants, undertakers, all thrived on sorrow. There were even catalogs titled, Mourning Made Easy. Because apparently, nothing says comfort like pre-packaged despair. Queen Victoria herself set the tone. After Prince Albert died in 1861, she wore black for the rest of her life. 40 years. Her example turned personal tragedy into a national fashion trend. Every woman was expected to follow her lead, even if it meant wearing the color of death, until her own. 5. Emotional imprisonment. Beyond the fabric and the formality, widowhood was isolating. There was no counseling, no support groups, no gentle reminders to move on. A Victorian widow was expected to grieve eternally, but quietly. If she remarried too soon, she risked judgment. If she didn't remarry, she faced loneliness and dwindling finances. She existed in a strange social purgatory, not fully single, not truly married, and never allowed to forget the past. Even children were taught not to mention father. In cheerful tones, death was sacred, and sadness was a duty. 6. The long fade. After years of mourning, the widow's wardrobe might lighten, from black to gray, gray to lilac. But many never reached the lilac stage. The black crepe became habit, the solitude became familiar. The Victorian widow learned to live in slow motion, in the quiet ticking of clocks, the rustle of heavy skirts, and the endless tea poured for visitors who spoke softly about nothing at all. It wasn't only the husband who was buried. It was her freedom, her youth, her laughter. So when we think of the grand portraits and noble funerals of the Victorian age, it's easy to forget that for the women left behind, death was only the beginning. Being a widow was a profession, a performance you could never quit. And that's why, in a quiet, candlelit world obsessed with manners and mourning, being a Victorian widow sucked more than losing your husband. Good night. Rest easier than they did.